And hello and welcome everyone to the comic multiverse where the worlds of nerd meet. As always, I am your host Joel and I'm just so happy to have you with us this week. I mean, I'm happy every week, but I'm particularly happy this week because, this week is new, right, Matt?
It's a new weekend that had some pretty cool stuff in it this week.
It did. We figured that, because nothing huge happened in comics this week, or at least nothing we didn't already call, we're going to, try and devote some time to catching up on television. I don't know if people remember this, but Matt and I actually used to do a TV-centric show for a little bit that people liked, so we're going to talk Jessica Jones. We're going to talk the news of the week. We're going to finally talk Rebels now because I don't think it's spoiler anymore. I think people, by now, they've either seen it or they haven't.
Yeah, it's been a couple of weeks since it ended, and I think everything's sort of settled now for it. But yeah, definitely going to be talking about that.
Yeah, we can talk Legion, we can talk Flash and everything. It's going to be a good time, I think.
Yeah.
And I mean, for you out there listening, I mean, I sure hope you think this is going to be a good time, because if not, Matt and me are fucked. Also, too, I was trying to stall for time. I wanted to thank our newest patron. I always try and make a big deal of that whenever we get a new patron, to thank them by name, but I cannot find their information. Let's just say, hey, if you're the guy who gave some money to Patreon last, it's you, and you know.
You know who you are.
You know who you are, and we thank you for it. As always, if you want to listen to this show first before anyone else, you can become a patron and get both the audio version and the video version that Matt is nice enough to put up.
Yeah. You can get it for as little as $1.
A little as $1 a month. That's $12 a year.
Yeah.
That's a solid deal. I heard about that in my business class. Be sure to stress how much that is over time. Also, it was Jose Bernal who gave a whole dollar. So thank you, Jose, and thank you to all the other patrons for keeping this show afloat and making sure I can still pay Matt every month. And also pay for the upkeep of this over on SoundCloud, which you can go to. And yes, I've fixed the cutting off problem now at the end. So if you're listening to it there, you're listening to the audio version straight from Matt's recording, so you know it's good.
You know it's good.
Which, apparently the reason it was cutting off, I thought it was my rendering process, Matt. Turns out it was actually an OBS problem, and I just got a big OBS download to fix stuff, so here's hoping that was the problem.
Here's hoping.
Yeah, and if it's not the problem, I don't know what the fuck's going on. I'm bad at technology. I don't even know how to get the show on iTunes, even though I'm trying. What if I pay a person to put it on iTunes? Is that a thing that can happen?
He'll be taken like out a Craigslist and
yeah, really.
need someone to the iTunes.
Oh man, what a Craigslist ad. That would be single white male, 20s, searching tech savvy person, enjoys long walks on beaches and can help me put my podcast up on iTunes. Up for anything. Send. And now we wait. Man, I'm getting a lot of friendly replies, but none of them want to help me put my podcast up. And with that out of the way, everyone, we can talk to our big first story of the week, and that is, of course, Avengers Infinity War dropped their newest trailer, and it set the internet ablaze, Matt.
As that usually does when a Marvel trailer drops.
Mm-hmm. Especially an Avengers trailer like this. They kind of pulled out all the stops on this one, didn't they?
They did. They really did.
Mm-hmm. What I really dig about it is that they kind of gave Gamora narration duty, and we kind of get to hear more or less the, first real steps towards an origin of Thanos as told by her, and really, why not? She's his adopted daughter. She would know more about him than anybody.
Yeah, we get to get an idea of like what his plan is, and it's obviously to balance the universe with the snap of a finger, like he does in the comics.
Very, very interesting choice of words, balance the universe. Not wipe out, not kill, balance the universe. And obviously, the big, rumors flying around right now is that movie Thanos is going to be different in origins and ideology than comic Thanos. Wouldn't it be interesting if Thanos was some sort of fallen hero and killing half the universe is his idea of saving the universe?
That would be interesting. I know I think it was the Russos or Josh Brolin gave like an interview about Thanos and his motivations, and they said that like he saw his race become kind of similar to like how Jor-El saw Krypton, how they were like really cocky and like too much power, and and everything, and they didn't think anything could ruin them. So when they got ruined by their own folly, then he says, "Okay, we've got to balance the universe out."
Where unlike in the comics, when you see his origin, he's kind of already like a freak and an outcast, and kind of like a Damien 666 kid, where it's like everyone's freaked out of him from the second he's born onward.
Yeah, yeah.
I guess this is more interesting to give him a reason than as it's always shown in the comics of being like, he was always evil.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
He was always evil, he was always a shit kid, and then he fell in love with literally the personification of death, which made him want to kill on a massive scale.
Yeah, yeah.
Although at the same time, I'm like, man, I hope we get a reference to Lady Death. I hope we get something.
Yeah, I imagine we will. We'll get maybe something. I know people suggested that might have something to do with Hela, since she's technically the goddess of death, and they might meld those two characters together.
They seem to be going that way in the comics. At the end of that Unredeemable Thor miniseries, her and Thanos seemingly got together. Then they never picked up that story again.
Yeah, so definitely something that could happen.
Yeah, it's a thing. I think the real takeaway from this trailer, and the thing everyone loved, was, of course, the interactions between characters. We get to see Spider-Man joking around with Doctor Strange.
Yeah, I thought that was really cool. And again, making like a reference that people think Doctor Strange is like his superhero name and not an actual, like, his actual moniker.
Yeah. Oh, so we're using fake names now, huh? Okay. Just tried to introduce myself as Peter Parker, and here you are stonewalling me. I mean, it's not a big deal. I mean, we both live in New York. It's no big deal. I understand. Of course, Star-Lord chatting it out with Iron Man, which I think that's what people want more than anything, because I don't think I'm wrong in saying that the Guardians of the Galaxy may be some, if not the most popular out of these Marvel Cinematic movies. So it's being like, wow, the Guardians hanging out with Iron Man. Look how the gap has been bridged.
It's so cool. When I saw that scene, like, who would have thought, like, when we seen the first Iron Man, we'd be getting something like this? It's so cool.
Yeah, absolutely. We even get the big recreation of Captain America standing up to Thanos and really standing his ground against him, much like he did in the original Infinity Gauntlet.
Yeah, like literally standing ground against him and like holding the gauntlet back, basically.
Yeah, it's good shit. It's good shit.
Yeah.
Oh, I also liked it. We get to see Thanos in armor. That's also nice.
Yeah.
Like, is he gonna wear any armor in this movie at all? Like, it's not that I don't like casual Thanos. It's just, come on, man.
Farmer Thanos? You don't like Farmer Thanos?
He's literally Farmer Thanos from the sequel story where he was a farmer. Like, that's totally the look, and I'm like, but why though?
Yeah. Well, I think maybe if they do have like a reason for why he's like just in like a tank top, it's probably because like, he doesn't need armor. He has the Infinity Gauntlet.
No, and the powers of a god, or he just really wants to intimidate the Avengers with his gains. It's what he wants. He's been really hitting the gym recently, so he's like, oh yeah. Been doing the DDP yoga, man. You gotta lift it up. You gotta hulk it up. That's what he's doing. And then the Hulk's gonna be like, nah, man, I challenge you to a pose off.
And that's how they beat Thanos.
They beat him in a pose off. I mean, hey, Star-Lord challenged Ronan to a dance off, and that didn't work. It just needed a little tweaking. Just gotta tweak the idea a little bit. Oh, we get to see some more of the Black Guard there. We get some Corvus Glaive. We get some Ebony Maw there. That's cool.
Yeah, some Ebony Maw is probably trailer cut, but like torturing Doctor Strange, which he did in Infinity.
He did. And looks very creepy, as he should.
Yeah, and someone else pointed this out to me, I think a while ago. Benedict Cumberbatch, actually, he's the only cast member who got to read the entire script. So people think because he's done it in the past, he might be voicing a character of the Black Order.
Interesting.
Because he voiced Dormammu.
Yeah, that's very interesting, and I kicked around a similar theory because they're apparently keeping the voices of the Black Order so close to their chest. They're like, oh, it's a surprise, and you'll see when the movie comes out. Wouldn't it be interesting if that, like, literally the Black Order are just voiced by the cast, but just changed a little bit?
That'd be pretty cool.
It would be. Again, it ties into the whole narrative that's sort of been a big deal in the Marvel Universe, and that is, fight your doppelganger, fight your cracked mirror self. Now they literally sound like you on top of everything else. See, I thought they were going to be really crazy about it when they said that, oh, we have people cast, you're not going to know yet. I'm like, oh, are they going to cast, like, Kevin Conroy and Tim Daly and a bunch of, like, DC voice talent and have them come in and voice these guys?
That'd actually be pretty cool.
I mean, they already had Clancy Brown as Surtur, so they already had Lex Luthor in there.
Yeah, you get, like, Mark Hamill as, like, Ebony Moore.
Oh my God, and he's just sounding like the Joker.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, too good, Matt. Too good. This is too good an idea. And they jump at the opportunity to do it, and they'd still only have to pay them what they would pay normal voice actors.
Yeah, yeah.
That's almost too good an idea, man. See, now I'm upset that that's not going to happen. But yeah, so that's the Avengers trailer. I mean, really, is there anything else to say about it? It looks pretty dope, and we're going to be seeing it sooner than we think at the end of next month.
From next week, yeah, it's exactly a month next week. Oh, it's gonna be. I still get to see it 2 days before you as well.
Lucky bastard. Lucky Aussie bastard with your early releases. Oh, well, as we said before, don't feel too bad about that for Matt. It's to make up for all the other shit that comes with living in Australia. Everything else is late and overpriced.
Yeah, yeah.
This is the one concession they get.
Yeah, they're like, okay, all your video games and movies and everything will be like overpriced, but you get to see all these cool Marvel movies or any cool Marvel or Star Wars or any type of movie first.
Yeah, there you go. You feel better now, and you feel better about all the poisonous snakes and spiders that can kill you.
Yeah, you get all that, but you got to get to the cinema, through the spider and snake gauntlet.
And then past the Road Warrior, you must solve the Road Warrior's riddles 3 if you want to get in. Halt, I am Trogdor. Me and my band of highway warriors control this territory. Oh, damn it, Trogdor again. Just trying to get to the movie. Look, Trogdor, tell you what, if you let us go, I will buy you a popcorn with butter. How about that? This pleases Trogdor. You may pass. But yes, from there, everyone, we have some comic book news here. So James Tynion is going to be closing up shop on his Detective Comics run very soon. A hell of a run, wouldn't you agree, Matt?
I would. He's done some amazing stuff with these characters, specifically like Cassandra Cain and Clayface, characters who in recent years have been sort of left to left out, basically. Yeah, just left out, basically.
Yeah. Given a lot of love to a lot of these characters. He's making Batwoman so good now I want to pick up the Batwoman book and see what I've been missing.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, she's really solid. This issue that came out this week, he continues the whole fall of the Bat family thing, and, everyone's at everyone else's throats, but for pretty good reasons.
Yeah, there's, like, an actual reason and explanation in the comic to tell you why all these characters are fighting.
Yeah, that's a hard thing to do, to have your heroes fight, but to have it be like, no, that's justified, and, everyone makes a pretty solid point.
Yeah, that's the thing. There's no, like, real bad guy in this fight. They all have really good points.
No one's being unreasonable, and it's funny. I think a lot of people jump down Batwoman's throat when it's like, oh, she killed Clayface, she loves murder, only for her in this issue to be like, nah, I agree with Batman like 9 out of 10 times, but that 10th time he's gonna freeze up and do nothing. I'm gonna get something done. Yeah,
it was really good.
And she's like, look, it's not like I'm going to continue killing or anything. In fact, I want to double down on non-lethal methods. I'm just like a cop or a soldier. And I'm like, well, that's a hell of a thing.
Yeah.
The way she's arguing, it's like, Batman puts more lives at risk with his inability to act when it counts.
Yeah, she makes really good points.
I'm like, damn it, Kate, you did your homework. You were clearly in debate club, weren't you? And even Tim is like, the Belfry Project, it's falling apart. My dream is falling apart. And Batman's like, look, Tim, stop beating yourself up about it. Just let it go. We can go back to being Batman and Robin. We can just do what we always do. And Tim's like, no, I can't stop. It can't all be worth nothing. I lost everything. And Batman's like, hey, you want to maybe get a little psychological help? No, fuck you, Batman.
Fuck you, Dad.
Yeah, fuck you, Dad. I'm not crazy, you're crazy. Well, actually, son, we're technically all a little crazy. Look how we're dressed. We're in a cave right now. But yeah, so his story's coming to an end, and it's building up to a hell of a crescendo, but they've already announced who's going to be taking over the next arc. Not taking over the book, period. And there's a lot of this happening at DC right now. Big DC Rebirth era books are ending, and writers who have been on the projects for years are leaving. And they're only announcing people who are doing fill-in arcs, but not people who are taking over the book, period. But for Detective Comics, it's Bryan Hill of the Wildstorm and all that stuff who's coming in to write Batman.
Yeah, he's recently been writing the Michael Cray Wildstorm book, which I haven't been keeping up with it, but I know is pretty amazing. I know like that the premise of that book was really cool.
Yeah, I was hearing good things about it too. And his big marching order for this story is, hey, let's have Batman team up with his old Outsiders teammate, Black Lightning. Almost as if Black Lightning is on television right now and could use to have his thing boosted just a little bit.
Yeah, his boosted. He's also got a mini series, doesn't he? Going at the moment,
Yes,
Black
he does.
Lightning. Yeah.
Yeah, which is basically just a retread of the stories everyone knows.
Yeah.
Which is nothing wrong with that for a whole new generation who's just reading about him for the first time. There's worse things to do than check that out.
Yeah.
I'm also kind of interested, too, to see them talk about Batman and the Outsiders as well, because if you remember back in Dark Knight's Metal, there was a whole offhanded line where Snyder says, oh, yeah, and Batman brought the Outsiders together for the sole purpose of hunting down the Nth Metal.
Yeah, that never really went anywhere. And
Nope.
I when I first heard that, I thought, oh well, we're probably gonna get like an Outsiders book, like in this new age of DC or whatever the hell it's called. I thought we were gonna get like some form of the Outsiders or something, but apparently not.
Nope, apparently Snyder was throwing everything at the wall, and they're like, no. Even we can't do anything with the Outsiders. I mean, come on, Katana, Black Lightning, Metamorpho. No.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like half of them are already on like other teams in that new
Exactly.
new age of heroes.
That's probably why they couldn't do it. Where it's like, yeah, we already still have Katana in Suicide Squad because of the movie. We're making Metamorpho our thing over here in the Terrifics, and I don't think anyone's going to read a book about Geoforce. The Adventures of Geoforce and Black Lightning.
You never know. There's that one person.
That's true. Exactly. Any character you can name, there's a super fan out there. They're probably listening. They're probably in the comment section right now. Also, as we've seen with television and movies, we make fun of Geoforce now, but he's just one CW series or movie away from being the next big thing.
Well, not even that, like just appearing on like The Flash as like a villain or something, or a hero or something.
Season 7 of The Flash, Geoforce.
Yeah, they've killed or used every other villain, so now they're scraping the bottom of the barrel.
You know what it would be?
Him and Condiment Man team up.
Oh, Condiment King, yeah. See, here's the thing. If they did do Geoforce, they'd have to do him on Black Lightning, because they've already dropped several references to the Outsiders and the Force of July and everything else, so he would have to be on that show.
Oh, really? I haven't been watching Black Lightning.
I'm like 3 or 4 episodes behind. I need to catch up on it, but that was because I got far behind on all my other shows because I had to watch Jessica Jones, and we're going to talk about that at the end of the show.
Yeah, we're going to need to catch up on everything. We got Krypton starting in 2 days.
We do have Krypton starting, and after talking so much shit about it after that one trailer and Jeff Johns going, no, I promise this is good, I'm like, all right, Jeff Johns, don't you steer me wrong now. And don't you fuck me, David Goyer, like you love to do. You lull me into a false sense of security, you invite me in, I think it's all going to be fine, but then no. Although that being said, Goyer was involved with Constantine, and Constantine was good for the one season we got out of it. Here's hoping Krypton is more like Constantine and less like Gotham.
How involved was he on Constantine, though? If he was an executive producer, that means he just like sat down and just put his name on the show.
Apparently he was quite in love with it. Apparently he was quite the cheerleader for it. But then again, hey, here's a sour man in a trench coat who smokes and is a dick to everyone, but who is loved for it, unlike the real David Goyer who does that and everyone hates him for it. Constantine is everything David Goyer hoped he could have been, but wasn't. But yeah, so that's that, everyone. Bryan Hill taking over for an arc. Good for him. Excited to see what they're going to do with it, but at the same time, I'm like, Why aren't you announcing who's going to take over Detective Comics? This has been one of the greatest eras in Detective Comics. Who's next?
A lot of the writers like haven't been announced for like, oh well, what I'm
No.
calling it is like Rebirth Phase 2.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
So it makes me think like maybe have we got like an event like set between these like transitions?
No, no, I don't think so.
No, or maybe I guess maybe like No Justice would count as an event.
Maybe, and also like Doomsday Clock got moved around, so we don't know what Doomsday Clock is going to mean for anything.
Yeah, because I think maybe we have like this like a big event or something like No Justice, and then they'll be like, all these new writers are coming out of this or something.
Right. Because again, it's like Green Arrow was like that too. Okay, so here's a filler writer for the next arc. Well, who's taking over after that? We don't know yet.
Yeah, I know for like Justice League we got who we got on art? We got Jim Chung on art.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, they stole Jim Chung away, didn't they?
Yeah, the guy he's responsible for like Secret Warriors and just like some of the really good shit at Marvel. He's over
Really
at DC
nice
now.
looking stuff. Which again, I say stole away. They didn't steal him away. They gave him a bunch of money. It's like, hey, you want to come here and draw Superman and Batman? Fuck yeah, I do. I draw so many Batmans. Look at my sketchbook. Look at all the Batmans. I'm an artist, so of course I draw lots of Batmans. But yeah, hey, more power to him, and it's nice to know that Justice League is probably going to look really awesome really soon.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it's going to be a good time for that. I would wish they would announce some of these people. I mean, we know that Benjamin Percy, when he's done with Green Arrow, he's going to be writing Nightwing now, and he's going to be like the new long-term guy on that.
I'll probably pick up Nightwing because of his Green Arrow run.
Absolutely. I wonder, are they just going to play like musical chairs with it, where it's like, okay, Tim Seeley, you know, you're done on all this stuff now. Come off Green Lanterns. You write Detective Comics now, and James Tynion, you go over and you write Nightwing now, or you write Green Arrow now, and then we'll just move everybody around.
What they do is they're playing like musical chairs, but with officers, and they all move to the officers to their right. So like, yeah, like, oh, I'm now, and that's how like Bendis got like both both Superman books.
Superman. Dan DiDio comes down. Okay, I'm gonna play the polka music, and you guys go back and forth in the offices. And when I stop, that's the book you're gonna be writing for the next 52 issues. That's like 3 to 2 years. Go for it. Yeah, I mean, I definitely don't think they're gonna drop the ball on some of these books, but I hate the not knowing part.
Yeah, it's getting a bit frustrating when you're like, oh, who's going to be taking over this book after this amazing run? Hopefully, it's not something that's bad.
Yeah, like I hope the fact that they've announced these filler arcs is kind of like, okay, let's really buckle down and find someone good, and not, yeah, we don't know.
Yeah, I think also like Robert Vendetti's coming off of Hal Jordan and the Green Lantern Corps,
Yes.
like issue 50 or something.
That's also on here. We're going to talk about where Vendetti is going, actually.
Yeah, well, he's got a little bit of time. It only just hit issue 40, so he's got 10 more issues.
Yeah, he's still got some time there. So, yeah, another thing we got going. Well, actually, I mentioned Tim Seeley, and we're still at DC, so I might as well talk about this. In the lead up to the big summer wedding of Catwoman and Batman, they announced a series of 5 little standalone issues that are going to tie in and take us into that, and they're all going to be written by Tim Seeley, and it's going to focus on all the different Bat family children and how they're dealing with it.
So if anything, the tie-ins will be good to this series.
Yeah, like, again, they're all written by Seeley, awesome, and they're going to have some pretty interesting pair-ups, so it's going to be like Nightwing versus Hush, and Red Hood versus Anarchy, and Batgirl versus the Riddler, and Damian Wayne, Robin versus Ra's al Ghul.
Yeah, so it's going to be some pretty cool things. I am interested, though, because we've seen, like, the Joker teased for this as well. I'm surprised he doesn't have, like, a tie-in. I'm waiting for that to be, like, a whole nother set of tie-ins. With the Joker going and doing shit or something. Yeah,
right. I mean, they gotta make their money, right?
Yeah.
They gotta get it back somehow. And Joker, you put him on something and he sells.
Yep, he does.
And I mean, now apparently, if you're gonna have 3 Jokers,
yeah, that's like another thing. There's 3 more tie-ins. Whatever happened to those?
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah. Well, again, they keep saying up and down that's Jeff Johns' story to tell, which makes me think, is that going to be told in Doomsday Clock, or is that
Well,
just does that just keep getting moved down the line?
it seems to imply that it's going to be told in Doomsday Clock since we've got two characters actively searching for the Joker,
Yeah.
and the implication that one might become the Joker.
Uh, Yeah, it's a lot to take in for sure. I mean, I'm definitely excited for these books. Again, I love Tim Seeley. I love his take on the Bat family, especially the sidekicks. I think some of these are going to be pretty good. And in a lot of cases, it's characters we haven't seen in a bit, where it's like, oh yeah, Hush exists in the DC Rebirth universe. He's running around. We just haven't seen him.
Yeah, and which is kind of like silly because like he is quite a big threat to Batman and the Bat family because of his history with them. And yeah,
Yeah.
why haven't we seen him before this time? We probably have. There's probably like some person out there who's reading a book
Oh
neither
yeah.
of us are reading, and he's appeared in it or something.
Of course, isn't that always the way? I like to, what is it? You get Anarchy. It's nice to see they're pushing Anarchy pretty hard and he's showing up and stuff.
Yeah, especially considering like since his arc just gone in Detective Comics, we haven't seen
Mm.
or heard of him since.
No, and it's fun to set him up against Red Hood because it's like, hey, I'm the fuck up of the Bat family. I'm the black sheep, and Anarchy's like, hey, I'm kind of a fuck up too, and I'm kind of a good guy, and I'm kind of a bad guy all at the same time. But I arguably have more of a code of ethics than you do.
Yeah, that's going to be an interesting pair up.
Yeah, I never thought I'd be interested for a Red Hood story, but I'm actually quite interested for this Red Hood
Yeah.
story.
And it's Tim Seeley writing it, so it's going to be, it's not going to be the usual Red Hood wank that we used to.
No, no, he's going to actually write him like a character and like a person,
Yeah.
which is always nice to see. Keeping with the DC train because it was just a big DC news kind of week. Apparently, DC and Warner Brothers are developing a New Gods movie, and they already have a writer and director attached to it.
I'll believe this when the camera's rolling.
Isn't that always the way?
I'll
Like,
put
here's
it
the
put
thing,
it with all the rest of those movies they're going to be making.
Suicide Squad sequel, the three Joker movies, the Flash, Cyborg, the Green Lantern movie.
And it was also like greenlighting this just shows me they haven't learnt a fucking thing because it's a New Gods film. Why aren't they greenlighting Superman 2?
Yeah.
Fast tracking Wonder Woman, all this stuff that they should be doing. No, we'll just do a fucking New Gods movie because for some reason people want that.
Well, you see, Matt, a lot of people were talking about Steppenwolf after the end of Justice League. They weren't saying good things, but boy, howdy, were they talking about him. And we feel like we
I'd
can
love
say-
if that's what WB thought. They're like, oh, people are really talking about this Steppenwolf, and like some interns like, yeah, but it's not good. It's like, no, they really like this Steppenwolf. We'll give them a New Gods film.
no news is bad news. Also, too, where it's like, like you said, I'm amazed that this project seems further along than that solo Batman movie or a Superman sequel or any of this other stuff. And it begs the question: what canon is this going to be in? Is this going to be in any canon anymore? Are you just doing a New Gods movie because?
Yeah, are you just doing movies now because you feel like it? Have you just ditched the cinematic universe? Are you even still doing that?
Because it seems like you're trying to have it both ways right now. Like, yes, we're making sequels, but we're also concentrating on more standalone stuff. But if they're popular, we'll put them in continuity. We don't know.
Yeah, again, it's all a mess, and they appear to have not learned a thing.
I think it's so funny that as it stands right now, New Gods is technically further along than that Flash movie they keep firing directors off of and that they keep leaving.
Yeah.
Now, who's the director they got off this? It's the woman who just did A Wrinkle in Time, Ava DuVernay,
which I kind of question. People seem to be like praising her for it, but I'm like, why? She did like a low budget biopic film, which was good. I really liked Selma, and then like her new big budget blockbuster is tanking at the box office.
Well, I think from
and
a
that was
visual
and that was her passion project as well. She
I
worked
know.
so many years on that. So yeah.
I know that's so sad to see, and I was rooting for that because like I read the Wrinkle in Time book in school, so I actually know the story and everything. I think that a lot of the buzz, and rightly deserved buzz, too, is like, wow, look how she was able to bring this fantasy world to life, and look how she was able to work with all these eclectic actors and everything and make it, kind of look like something off the page. And I'm like, yeah, agreed, that's really awesome. Too bad it didn't make the money you were looking for.
Yeah, yeah.
But then again, it's like, hey, you know what? Let's roll the dice on this. Why not? It's just money, right? Spend it now. We can make more later. This is their new thing when it comes to making films. Money, what's money? just making it rain up in here. You know who probably had the funniest thing when this news was announced? Jonathan Hickman on Twitter. Did you see that?
No, what did he say?
Oh, it was hilarious. He basically said what you were saying, where it's like, oh, they're doing a New Gods movie. Hey, here's my casting for Darkseid. Nothing matters if the script sucks. Hey, here's my casting for Highfather. Doesn't matter if the script sucks. Then he keeps going down like 3 or 4, and then he gets to like the bottom one of a New God character he likes, and then he actually gives a real answer. I'm like, oh, Hickman, you're funny. I like you.
Yeah, and then also, yeah, as we were saying before, it begs the question, if it's in canon with like the Justice League and everything, we're not going to get Kirby New Gods. We're going to get this weird Zack Snyder weirdo alien. Everything is grey shit, and not like the crazy Kirby stuff that we ironically saw in a Marvel film recently.
Yeah, which how weird is that? That it's like, no, you already got to see weird ass third world or fourth world Kirby stuff. It was just in Thor Ragnarok.
Yeah.
Hey, can we get Taika Waititi over here to do this one? Can we steal him away? No, we can't. Shit.
Yeah, and then also like New Gods film, you got to explain literally everything to people. Like, oh, who is that guy sitting in that big mechanical chair? Why is this guy like wearing like BDSM gear? Why is that tall woman like wearing BDSM gear?
Because Kirby had his kinks, okay, everybody. don't we all? He was just smart enough to put it on the page and get paid for it. One day I hope to do that. But yeah, you're right. It's like, that's a lot of stuff to have to explain. Like, here's the thing. New Gods are niche even amongst comic fans.
Oh yeah.
Like, I know plenty of comic fans who don't know shit about the New Gods and New Genesis and Apocalypse and all this other stuff. They might just kind of know, like, oh yeah, that's where Apocalypse comes from, right? He fights Superman sometimes.
Yeah, that's pretty much all like people I know about that. Oh, there's that Darkseid guy.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, there's that planet that has like the volcanoes on it. That's called Apocalypse.
Mm-hmm. And it's like meant to be intentionally weird and trippy and out there because that was the time in which they made it.
Yeah.
As like, do you really want to do that to a film? Is that something you're willing to commit to?
Probably not.
Yeah, or are you just going to treat it like another superhero franchise?
Yeah, again, I keep thinking, oh, the New Gods are going to get turned into the Guardians of the Galaxy.
That crossed my mind too, where it's like, well, can this be our Guardians then? Because, they're in space and they're weird.
Yeah, and they're going to cast some pretty boy as Orion without realizing that he's meant to be really ugly.
Yeah, on the inside and the outside. Oh well, we'll keep you posted on this one as it happens. But again, don't be surprised with a lot of these DC film projects if you don't hear about it.
Yeah, that'll probably just fade into nothing.
Oh, which is kind of sad, because I would like a New Gods movie, but I'd like a good version of it, if possible. But yes, after that, everyone, we got some more comic book news here. This more Marvel Fresh Start related stuff here. Laura Kinney is getting a brand new series as part of Fresh Start. She's going back to being X-23.
Yeah, All New Wolverine, at least with Tom Taylor at the helm, is ending at issue 35 after he's done his Old Woman Laura storyline, which is the storyline after this current issue. So it didn't say the book was ending, though. It just said that he was coming off as writer.
Right, and I guess the book is becoming this now.
Maybe, yeah. So yeah, she's kind of it was funny as well because they in this issue that came out the week just gone was an X-23 centric issue with her reliving a moment in her past as X-23. Ooh. So yeah, kind of building like the supports for that series.
This is kind of like I'm trying to think of a good word to describe it. It's a bittersweet moment because it's like obviously old Wolverine is coming back and they're trying to cut down on so many characters all sharing the same code name. But at the same time, it's like, but Laura's time as Wolverine was really good, and her costume is really awesome, and it feels like a step back. If you're gonna make her X-23 again, that's fine, just from a naming standpoint. But at least let her keep the Wolverine costume.
Yeah, to be honest, I'm surprised it didn't happen sooner, especially around the time Logan was out, because like everyone goddamn loved X-23 in that film, and I'm surprised we didn't get something that made Laura turn back into like a little kid again.
Yeah. Well, they already had a little kid in there in Honey Badger, so they already had that baked right on in.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, I guess she's going to go along for this ride, too. It's Mariko Tamako who's going to be writing this one. She was writing the She-Hulk book. I really liked the first arc of that She-Hulk book. Then it kind of meandered for a little bit. But I think she does a good job balancing tragedy and comedy and action and all this other stuff. I think she's a good fit for X-23.
Yeah, well, X-23 has all that tragedy, comedy, action, suspense, drama, all that sort of stuff.
So it's like, well, I'm kind of upset that, it kind of feels like they're taking a step back with Laura. At the same time, it's like, well, she's popular enough that she was able to get another solo series. And here's hoping that the fan base from the all-new Wolverine book will follow her to this.
Yeah. It also makes me question, like, what is going to happen with her as Wolverine in the pages of X-Men Red?
Yeah, that's a good question, because it's like she's on a bunch of teams now and still being called Wolverine. Is she just going to show up miraculously one day and be like, hey, guys, I decided I'm going to be X-23 again?
Yeah, and again, Red's written by Tom Taylor as well, so...
Yes.
Yeah, it's very interesting. I don't know what's going to be happening with her.
Yeah, it's gonna be a weird time for her, but hey, it is what it is. And speaking of things that are what they are, another new piece of news that came out this week: Robert Venditti, as we mentioned, he's going to be helming the Hawkman solo series now for DC once that becomes a thing.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I'll definitely give it a look. The man knows his cosmic work, and Hawkman is getting a hell of a rub from being one of the central figures in Dark Knight's Metal, but at the same time too, I'm a comic fan who knows his history, and I know no Hawkman book has lasted very long.
No, but maybe with this push of Metal, it might last a little bit longer. And I know they're going back to the reincarnation one, I believe, or like the Thanagar one, or like a sort of a balance between the two.
Yeah.
Which is really cool, so I'm looking forward to that. I'm hoping like we get to see stuff like Adam Strange reappear and some Rand Thanagarian stuff.
Well, judging by some of the artwork we've seen, and I don't know if this is just was Chung testing or if this is some stuff we're actually going to see, but it looks like for Justice League, Hawkwoman is back. So is this Hawkman book going to be a Hawkman and Hawkwoman book?
Well, I don't know whether she's gonna be Hawkwoman in there, or whether she's gonna just be like Lady Blackhawk or something.
Yeah. Well, in the picture, she was wearing the costume. She was wearing the old costume again. Yeah.
So they're not gonna call her by that name that she was in the Metal issues when she was fighting Wonder Woman. It was like Blackhawk or Lady Blackhawk or something like that.
I think that's because she became evil. I'm sure when she's purified again and is reunited with Carter, she'd be like, well, I guess I'll be Hawkwoman again.
Yeah, probably.
Because that's how it works. Oh, look, my old costume's here, and it looks exactly like how it used to. Isn't that funny? Because, yeah, basically all the stuff we've been seeing for this new, like, post-Justice League No Justice team is like, oh, so it's just the cartoon team now, huh? All right, good. That's what it should have been.
It kind of seems like it. John Stewart's on it as well, so, yeah.
Yeah. Feels like that's how it should have been from the get-go. I am all right with this. I'm sorry it took you 5 to 7 years, but I'm glad we're finally here now.
Yeah, we finally have a Justice League book that's kind of worth picking up.
It's funny, too, that it's like, okay, we trust the two Green Lanterns, Jess and Baz, enough to hold down their own book and not be on the League so John Stewart can come in. But Cyborg is still going to be there.
I don't think he's going to be there for very long. I think maybe, like, Martian Manhunter will take over.
Well, that's the thing where it's like, okay, well, now that you have this team here, as much as I hate to say it, Victor seems even more superfluous than he did before.
Yeah.
Now he looks even weirder against the other team, and again, I weep for him. It's just like, guys, just come on, just make him go join Titans. Is that so hard? I know you'll have to be like, yeah, okay, so all the history with them did exist. He just forgot about it. Like, tell a story that lets him go back and join the Titans.
Again, you just get like Wally, the pre-Flashpoint Wally to come hug him. and
and
it'll
then he'll
remember.
remember. You know what? Maybe they're keeping that in their back pocket. Maybe they're like, no. 2020, we still might do a Cyborg movie. No. They might make a Justice League 2. We need to hold out a little longer.
Yeah, they keep thinking that.
Because let's face it, that's probably the only reason they're still running with it right now. I don't think any Justice League writer ever knew how to write Victor hanging out with the rest of the Justice League because he has no history with them.
No, and that's what like makes like the current arc where he's like become the leader of them like seem really weird. Like why he doesn't like hang out with these guys.
And at least that's something. All the credit in the world to Christopher Priest for at least trying something.
Yeah.
With it. But yeah, Hawkman, everybody, check that one out. I will say this is probably the most excited they have people for a new Hawkman series in a long time, which is something you don't ever say about Hawkman.
No, especially like that one shot we got through Metal, that Hawkman fan one was really cool, and I hope it's a lot like that.
Yeah, I mean, it was repetitive of a lot of Hawkman stories they've told before, but it definitely seems to serve as a good jumping off point, if nothing else.
Yeah.
Now, hey, speaking of the Titans, and we absolutely were, here's one for you. Nicolas Cage finally to realize his dream of being Superman. Yay! But it's in the Teen Titans Go movie. Boo!
So nothing any of us will see.
No, but I will be sure to YouTube those scenes. I will be sure to YouTube a supercut of just his scenes as Superman.
It'll be pretty funny.
I hope he has long hair and a costume like the one he was going to have in that movie that never got made.
That'd be great.
Which, again, I don't watch Teen Titans Go, so maybe someone can explain this to me. Hasn't Superman already shown up in Teen Titans Go, and doesn't someone else voice him?
Yeah, I'm sure I saw like a picture of him from in that
style.
Yeah, in that Teen Titans Go style. So I would have thought they would have had a voice actor, whether it be someone like Tim Daly, George Newbern, someone like that.
I mean, I'm sure the answer they'll give is this is Titans and no one gives a shit. The show is made for babies, so...
Yeah, I suppose so.
No, babies, that's unfair. So, 6 and up. It's made for 6 and up, everybody. Which is why Matt and I don't watch it, because we're adults. It's not our jam. It was not made for us. That's the realness. But yeah, so good for Nick Cage, if nothing else. He'll finally get to be Superman.
Yeah.
And hey, because we're talking about TV, we're gonna give that over now to the rest of the show. We're gonna do a little TV catch up. Where would you like to start, Matt? I'll let you decide.
Well, let's start with the more like recent stuff, so like Flash, Legends, and stuff like that.
Right, so for Flash, we finally got the episode that everyone was excited for / dreading. Hey, Iris got superpowers, everybody. And I think a lot of people were afraid, like, oh no, is this the last desperate move the writers are doing now? We have nothing for this woman to do, so now we're going to give her powers and a costume in hopes that she'll actually matter now.
Yeah, and she doesn't. And she says some really, like, things, really surprising things in this episode that I'm like, really? What? One of them being that she's the leader of Team Flash. I'm like, where the fuck did that come from?
Oh, she's been saying it from the very beginning that she's the leader of Team Flash, to which anyone with a brain and anyone who pays attention can say, but why, Iris? What do you bring to this team? You're not a genius, you're not a tech expert, you don't build anything, you don't know any tactics that your dad doesn't know, you're no expert on anything.
You're seemingly unemployed.
Yeah, that's another... Okay, I'm glad they finally talked about that, and that is why does Iris not work at the paper anymore? But wow, the writers wrote themselves into such a serious corner that they make her speak absolute hot gibberish to try and cover up their mistake. And that is, and during the Savitar thing, I thought I was going to die, and, I just don't know why I stopped going into work. Really? Really, you don't know why? You don't know if you quit? You don't know if you're getting a severance package? You just don't know? She literally uses the word, I don't know.
And, like, no one, like, seems to care at the work either. Like, that she hasn't had, like, bosses or HR call out. I'm like, hey, where the fuck are you?
Yeah. And again, you can tell the writers wrote themselves into the corner. They were probably in the room being like, look, it doesn't matter what we have her say. Either she says she quit and sounds like an idiot. Either we say she was fired and she sounds like an idiot. Or we say she just hasn't shown up in 3 years and she sounds like an idiot. So it doesn't matter what we say. We're terrible at writing this character.
Yeah.
So in the end, she just says nothing, gets an episode where she has some powers, doesn't really do all that much with them, really.
No, no. They try and make a big point that like she made like a tidal wave and Flash couldn't, and I'm like, so he's done like way more like impressive things than make a tidal wave.
He can create doubles of himself and phase through walls and shoot lightning when he
he
remembers.
he can time travel.
Yes, he also stopped a tidal wave, if you'll remember,
Yeah,
in a
yeah,
couple seasons ago. So, it's not that big a
yeah.
feat. I
I
mean, it's
think
cool.
I think it might have been the episode before that, but it was the episode where he was stuck in super speed because of the nuclear
Mhm.
bomb was going. I really liked that episode. I thought that was really cool.
That was a clever episode. It's funny. It was very much like the Legends of Tomorrow episode they did, where it's like, hey, let's just straight up do Star Trek: The Next Generation, where we'll do a Groundhog Day scenario.
Yeah, that Legends episode where Isis was stuck
Mm.
in the time loop was pretty cool.
Nice focus episode on her. I actually quite enjoy her as a character now because of little focus episodes like that.
Yeah, the Legends have had some really fun episodes. They had that
They
Blackbeard
have.
episode, which was a lot of fun.
Oh yeah, that was a lot of fun. I really dug that one where it's like, hey, here's a lot of real pirate history for you, and also everyone gets to play fun dress up.
Yeah, and they just did. Was it last week? They just did the Elvis one.
Oh yeah, that was good.
That was a good episode.
That was fun. Yeah, I think they've definitely found the voice of that show, and that's cool. They're even letting Damien Dark have some fun. They had a
Yeah,
whole episode built around him and his daughter, and him feeling like an inadequate father, yet also still being a threatening villain at the same time.
I really like that one where he had to like hunt himself before he himself
Yeah,
could
yeah.
kill that guy.
Yeah, and like you're rooting for him and his daughter to beat up his younger self. They're like, oh yeah, wait, they're the bad guys, aren't they? Shit.
Yeah, they're really charismatic that way. I like when
They
they
are.
get to do stuff like that and they're not just being mustache twirling villains.
They're really using every part of Neil McDonough as an actor to the point where I don't even care. Where it's like, wait, they've recycled him like almost every season to be the bad guy. From being like, oh, he's a bad guy here in this Legion of Doom. He's a bad guy, on Arrow, and now he's here again. They keep saying, oh, Mollis is the bad guy, really, but we're seeing more Neil McDonough than anything.
Yeah, well, really, we haven't actually seen Mollis because it keeps like
No,
possessing, uh, what's that,
Nora.
White Canary or Nora.
Yeah, yeah. Which I like too. They actually explained the deal with Mollis, and they actually did a very good job explaining it and to why he would be a good threat and good villain for the Legends. What is it? When Mari talked to her ancestor, and the ancestor said, "Oh, Mollis is a demon, and his cage is time itself, and they're creating all these inaccuracies." And things, so the cage will be broken and he can be free. And I'm like, oh, okay, that's pretty good actually.
Yeah, kind of tied in with the larger plot of the series, which is fixing those anachronisms.
Yeah, which good on you, Legends writers, for actually pulling it all together and having it make sense.
Yeah, actually thinking about your characters.
Actually thinking that one out. Good job. Also, Brandon Routh as the Atom has been getting a lot of love this season too. They're really hammering a character out of him. Yeah, he's a bit of a dope, but he's a lovable dope.
He has times where you're like, why the fuck is this guy like? He's meant to be smart, but he's a complete idiot. And then there are other times like, oh, he's a really cool character.
He's literally too good for his own good, and I
Yeah.
think they did a perfect job summarizing that at the end of the Blackbeard episode when he has the cure to the nanomachines he put in to defeat the villain, but he hated the idea of her dying and being hurt, so he just gave it to her to save her life, even though that was the dumbest thing to do. It's like, well, it's in his character though.
Yeah, and that also like led to like the next episode where him and Nora team up, and like Nora
Yeah,
um kind of turns good a little bit
yeah, yeah.
in a way, but then immediately goes back to being a villain.
They they have an interesting back and forth. I'm like, are they trying to set Nora up as like a love interest for the Atom, even though he knew her when she was a child?
Oh, the Atom he'll probably like be like that catalyst that makes her like turn good or something.
Of course. Then be like, hey, I know things were getting hot and heavy back there, but let me give you a hearty handshake because I'm the Atom. I'm a good guy. But yeah, Legends has been a lot of fun. They even snuck Rip back aboard the ship in his coat, and I wasn't mad at it because like Rip is
Yeah.
actually starting to be a character now and not just someone you hate.
Yeah, and they have Wally come on, and they actually answered like some of the questions. Like, oh, well, now they have a speech, so there's like no problems, and they actually reference it with Wally like getting like all the totems they need, and it like just causing havoc.
Yeah, it's funny too. You know, Wally on that show is so interesting because it's like, okay, I know the actor had a lot of real life problems, and that I guess they put him on this show because it would be less intensive on him and everything. But at the same time, it kind of makes me laugh where it's like, oh, better watch out for Legends. If you fall off Legends, there's nowhere else to fall in the CW universe.
Yeah, this is what happens when you like have a falling out with a character on a main show, or like you get bumped down to the lowest rung. And it's this team.
It's like, is Legends the punishment at the CW offices? Like, you better straighten up and fly right, or so help us, we will send you to Legends for an extended stay. And I'm like, is there anywhere lower than Legends? Hey, we'll put you on Black Lightning. We don't even know if that's in continuity or if that's getting a second season.
It's the new like when they like kill a character and like put them in a coma, you're gonna go to Legends.
We'll send you to Legends for a long period of time. People won't know what's going on. But yeah, so yeah, Legends is fun. Flash is okay. It's definitely better than the Savitar season, but there's still like a lot of problems here and there.
Yeah, it has a couple of bad episodes every now and then, but then that has like some really good ones, and yeah.
Yeah, it goes back and forth. Also, too, in that Iris episode there, what is it? Elongated Man was acting like an idiot, too. It's like, oh, I'm scared to leave. I'm not going to leave now.
Yeah, after, like, the previous episode where he was trying to convince someone to leave and everything, yeah. It was...
I've decided I'm a giant wuss now, and I'm going to be a giant wuss the whole episode because Iris needs to give me a talking to at the end of this episode to complete her arc. Which isn't much of an arc at all, although thank God they got her back writing again. I'm like, good, give her something to do outside the Flash, for fuck's sake, even though she's going to be writing about the Flash, but still. Yeah.
But now the Flash doesn't have a leader. What are they going to do? They'll function completely normally.
Function exactly like they did in the first 2 seasons before Iris showed up. Although I guess they could argue, oh, well, wasn't Wells the leader? Yeah, but they worked without Wells, too.
Yeah, there was never really a leader. It was a committee.
Yeah. I'm hoping, too, now that Iris has a job, maybe Barry will say, oh, good, maybe now you'll bring some money into this house. I've kind of literally been paying for everything. Me and Joe are the only 2 people with actual jobs.
Yeah, no one else actually has a job.
No, hey, what happened to that museum, that Star Labs museum? Is that making any money yet? Oh, no, we didn't open the doors in 2 seasons? Fuck.
Oh, no, they forgot to.
Cisco's like, yeah, my rich family's been paying the bills on all of these. I've been telling them I've been on sabbatical in, like, the Cayman Islands, but really I've just been, keeping the lights on here. Because, like, no one owns Star Labs, right?
I don't know if they do. They're not doing very good upkeep. It's still, like... For 5 seasons, it's still got like the outside is all broken and from like the first episode.
And doesn't anyone get suspicious of this science lab running at full capacity, seeming to only service the Flash and occasionally the police, but again, not for money?
Yeah, again, it should be like the comic Star Labs, where it like services like all different type of heroes, has their own teams and everything.
Well, they kind of do that in the crossovers, and like whenever another hero needs something, it's like, oh, I got this from Star Labs. It's like, did you pay for it?
Yeah, who made it? We know everyone who's working there, and they're like here, standing over there.
like literally, it would be fine if they just had an offhanded line being like, oh, Oliver Queen pays the bills. I'd be like, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough. He's the Bruce Wayne of this universe. He's got the money for it, I guess.
Or does he? Is he not losing his money again or something?
I don't know. That's classic Green Arrow right there. Are you rich this month or not? Nah, I lost it all, but I'll get it all back next week. That's the thing about Oliver Queen. You got to catch him in between his richness and poorness. All right, so that's the CW. Some good stuff, some bad stuff, but pretty enjoyable, all things considered.
Yeah.
You want to talk about Rebels next, and then we can close with Jessica Jones?
Sounds good.
All right, then. So I will let you go on about Rebels, what with you being the biggest Star Wars fan I know.
Oh, Rebels. The last couple. How many episodes were there? There were like two, four, probably 6 episodes. They were in two episode lots, I think.
Yeah, which was a smart idea.
Yeah. Boy, what the hell didn't happen these last 6 episodes? Oh
We had
God.
the ongoing mystery of the Force Wolves.
Yeah, that we kind of got answered a little bit. I
Yeah.
think that's going to be like a running thing. I know Dave Filoni loves wolves and loves putting
Yes.
them in things. So whatever he does next, we'll probably have these Force wolves or a version of them in it, and we'll get more
I,
about them.
I love the wolves because I can't help but think of the fox from that what is it, that movie Antichrist, where the fox, I'm sure you've seen the meme or the gif, chaos reigns, because
Yeah,
the wolves is literally just like, doom, doom.
yeah. And we sort of learned that they're like the living force,
No.
kind and like guardians of like the Jedi Temple, or guardians of the place between places.
Yes, which they literally say place between places. I'm like, oh, good, take that back from Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, please. Because every time I say the space between spaces, I'm being an asshole and quoting Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
um, yeah, we get like it's all build up to like the last couple of episodes, which is the Battle of Lothal, and
Yes.
and the battle of the city to get the Empire off Lothal. And I love that this whole series has just been that, just
About defending one planet.
and stopping stopping the Empire from getting it.
And their awesome guerrilla war to do so.
Yeah, they're awesome guerrilla war. But yeah, we get more Thrawn hatching
Do we ever?
his evil plan when he kidnaps Hera, and Kanan and all
Still
that.
still torturing her with that family heirloom he stole. I like someone pointed it out, and the episode goes into great detail about it. The rebels are are artists at the end of the day. You have Sabine, who's like a straight up artist. She does paintings and stuff, and Hera has that family heirloom. The two Jedi guys have their force and everything. That they're artists, and Thrawn is an art thief.
Pretty much, yeah.
And I think that's a perfect example of a nice distillation of the rebels versus the empire, where it's like you're taking stuff you didn't make is what you're doing, and you're taking credit for it, and you're locking it away and doing all this other evil stuff. And I'm like, yeah, that's a good way to break it down.
And I also love like the explanation they go into, like why he likes taking their art and everything, and he says you can learn a lot of about a civilization from their art and like what type of people they are, which is why he's always taking their art and locking it up and all sorts of stuff. Like, I thought that was really cool. He does it in the comic as well, in the Thrawn comic.
I need to read that. Yeah, it's a nice dynamic they had going on. Oh, hey, Malcolm McDowell got to come back, but not as the character he actually played in Star Wars.
Yeah, no, he comes back as like this, yeah, one of the Emperor's aides people who was like studying this cave that might be an access to the place beyond places, but they don't know how to access it because they're evil people.
Oh yeah. It's great too, where it's like Malcolm McDowell comes back as a more interesting character because he sure wasn't going to come back as Grand Chancellor Valorum.
I don't think that was him that played that character.
Really, I thought that was Malcolm, or maybe just someone doing a really good Malcolm McDowell impression.
I think who played Valorum was the guy who played General Zod, Terrence Stamp.
Oh, that's right. Okay, see, I'm mixing up my old creepy British men again.
Though he might have had a voice on Clone Wars, maybe.
That might make sense. And hey, speaking of Clone Wars, the last remaining clones get their final hurrah, so they're really bringing shit full circle in the finale.
I love that we got on, especially like I remember like going into these episodes. I'm like, I wonder if they're gonna like bring the clones back because we hadn't seen them for a long time. We had only seen Rex, but they brought back like who they brought back, Gregor, Wolf. I think there might have been one more.
It was Wolf who makes a comment about the wolves.
Yeah, which is really cool. I really like that they brought them back. And who was it? I think Gregor goes out in a blaze of glory, which I think is pretty cool.
Yes, yeah. This finale had a body count. It really did. They brought back all the old friends. They brought back Hondo. They brought back Vizago. They brought back Sabine's bounty hunter friend.
Yeah, they brought back quite a few people for this last couple of episodes, and so they should. And as you said, like it did have a body count, since in the first couple of episodes back, Kanan dies.
Boy, does he, and he goes out like a boss too. And I mean, really, this is Star Wars, and as we know, the older mentor character always dies.
Yeah, he went out really really cool way, and I like when he was dying, the Force, not a lot of people picked it up. The Force grants him sight one last time.
Yes,
Because
that was cool.
his eyes go from cloudy back to the normal color.
Oh, and the
So
last thing he sees is Hera,
is Hera, yeah, which I think is really
the,
cool.
the woman he loves and also knocked up, as we find out later.
Yeah, we don't really know when he did that.
Yeah, yeah. How and when did that? Was that an Immaculate Force thing? Was that? Is that what that was? Or like, please tell me it was something else. Please tell me it was the old-fashioned way.
Yeah, we'll probably hear something from Dave Filoni about that.
Oh, sure. Also, further question: human Twi'lek hybrids. Let us discuss.
Yeah, no, this is technically the first time we've ever seen that.
Yes, a lot of firsts. Also, hey, first time you were telling me canon time travel in the Star Wars universe?
It was kind of canon before that,
Hmm.
but in like it technically wasn't time travel in that. But yeah, the place beyond places is like this really cool looking space with like these bridges and these Stargate portal thingies that allow you to access any part of time. It looks like it.
Any moment in time, yeah.
Yeah, and of course the Emperor wants that because why not? Why doesn't he want
Yeah.
that?
Who wouldn't imagine how I could rule the universe if I had time travel? This also means they get Ahsoka back for a little bit because, again, hey, Ahsoka, the big original character for Filoni and the team from Clone Wars onward, so of course they want to do more stuff with her before it's all over.
Yeah, and as well they bring her back in a really cool way where they slightly change it so that she doesn't get killed by Darth Vader. Instead, she gets pulled in and helps Ezra defeat the Emperor and close off his portal, but then goes back to Malachor and is stuck on Malachor, which is what we
Yeah,
see at the end of her episode when everyone thought she died. We see her walk through that doorway, which
that's
is
right.
which is her coming back through that portal, which is really cool.
I'm glad you mentioned the Emperor, too. How great is it that they got the original Emperor back, or at least the one we always hear now?
Yeah, yeah, they got the guy who played him in all the movies come back, Ian McDiarmid, to voice him, and he sounds perfect, absolutely
He really,
perfect.
like, except no substitutes, he's that good. And it's great because he gets to play both sides of the character. He has the big tempting Ezra to the dark side moment, but he does so as Chancellor Palpatine. It's like, oh, I'm just a friendly old man. You can
I
trust me.
I love that because it shows you like how easily he was able to manipulate like Anakin with that, like just a
Oh,
sweet
yeah.
old man who's just like talking about helping people. And yeah, and I like
It's
the when Ezra denies him that and like the hologram starts like changing.
and he becomes creepy monster face.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful gamble too because he's probably like, oh, well, Ezra's never met me before. He doesn't know what I look like. He doesn't know what my deal is. He doesn't
Exactly.
know I'm a Sith. So yeah, I might as well try this trick.
And also they play up the fact that like maybe the rebels have been feeding him false information because when he appears as like just the Chancellor, he's like, yes, I'm Emperor Palpatine, I'm here to help people, not like
Yeah,
what the
exactly.
rebels say and everything, trying to turn him against the rebels a little bit.
Yeah, which that's a really great temptation moment because it's not even like, oh, hey, join me on the dark side and I will give you unlimited power. It's, hey, take this thing, go back in time, and leave your friends. Are you willing to do that?
Yeah, yeah, gives him an out, but it's also kind of dangerous for the Emperor as well because history could just repeat itself.
Yes, absolutely. It's a cool gamble moment.
Yeah, yeah. I thought that was really cool. But the one of the big interesting things is once we see all this happen, we kind of get like an end to Thrawn, and we know from Dave Filoni that Thrawn and Ezra are both still alive.
Yes.
Because we get like those cool hyperspace whales come down and basically warp them away somewhere, and we don't know where.
It's funny. I remember when we saw the big Force Whale episode, I was kind of like, oh man, this is kind of a weird episode.
Filler.
Yeah, yeah. This is a bit of a filler episode. Little did you know it would end up being the most important thing.
Yeah, I remember I was watching the Rebels recon that is on after these episodes, and even the writers said that they're like, oh yeah, we knew what was going to happen with the Force whales and everything, but like we could tell people were going to go, oh, it's just filler episode. It's filler episode.
I think that was the best way they could have ended it, warping Ezra and Thrawn away. What was their fate? We don't know. All we do know is that Ezra sat out all the important things of the Luke trilogy, but maybe he didn't. We don't know. Maybe we'll tell that story.
Yeah, well, he did because he isn't in any of the movies or anything and isn't referenced. But yeah, it kind of gets them in that out of that there is no other Jedi around.
Yeah.
At the time, and the fact that he technically was a Jedi since he got christened as one, but he wasn't around. Kanan wasn't around. Ahsoka was around, but she wasn't a Jedi anymore.
Exactly.
And we don't know like how she got off Malachor or like when she got off Malachor.
Yeah. Nice bit of canon too to be like, Rex and Hera were totally there at the important battles of the movie. You just didn't see them.
Yeah. Well, like we see like the Battle of Scarif. Like I think everyone thought the movie was going to end, the show was going to end with the Battle of Scarif.
I thought so too.
And but no, we don't get to see any of that. We do obviously in Rogue One see the ghost, so some of the crew are there. Obviously, we actually get a time jump like after Return of the Jedi.
I was not expecting that. I'm so happy they did a time jump where we actually get to see all these characters all grown up and everything.
Yeah, like an older Sabine and an older Ahsoka going off to look for Ezra. We don't exactly know when it is after the Return of the Jedi. It's sometime after it.
Be sure to buy the book or read the comic or play the game or whatever that story inevitably becomes.
Why I imagine that might be what the next series is going to be. So it'll be like this huge sort of like trilogy of cartoons where you got Clone Wars, Rebels, and then whatever's next.
I would be fine with that.
Yeah, we got Zeb and Callus going off to like Zeb's like homeworld.
That's a really sweet moment that he lets him come to the homeworld of the Lasats, because as you remember, Callus led a major genocide against the Lasats, so that he's earned Zeb's friendship and the forgiveness of his people. That's a hell of a character arc for him.
Yeah, I thought that was a really cool character arc. They like set aside their differences and made friends with each other despite like all that bad stuff, and sort of forgave each other.
Mm-hmm. Really, really nice stuff, but very, very satisfying ending, I would say. I was sad to see it go, but I'm glad that it actually stuck the landing in a pretty big way.
It did. What else? Oh, we also got like confirmation of that fan theory that Rex was indeed that bearded guy from Return of the Jedi on Endor. I thought that was really cool.
That's nice. That was good.
So Rex is technically in a live action film.
There you go. He made the cut, as we all wanted. So yeah, I mean that's Rebels. We want to talk a little about Jessica Jones here before it gets too late. We both finished the second season of that.
Yeah. I finished it a little bit before you, I think.
You did. You always do.
Yeah, but it was pretty good. It was pretty good.
Yeah, I liked it too. I mean, the thing that stuck with me is that, if you'll recall, whenever we talked about these Netflix Marvel shows, the thing I always said is that by far Jessica Jones was the best paced, and it remains the best paced in season 2 as well.
Yeah. Usually, like as we've said before, these shows tend to have like 1 or 2 episodes where it's like, okay, and now we need to get to 10, 13 episodes, but we don't have enough content, so we're going to have like a focus piece on this character no one really cares about.
Let's stretch it out. I think it helps that the Jessica Jones cast is smaller, so when they concentrate on characters, it's people you care about, and it's like actually moving the story forward.
Yeah, and they have like a precedence for doing like single episodes, since she's a detective. Yes, and like absolutely. Going and investigating someone, whereas that you can't have that with something like Luke Cage or the Punisher.
No, it's funny too you mentioned the Punisher. I think Jessica Jones too might be more hopeless and more dark and more dour than the Punisher was.
A little bit, yeah.
Which I bet you never thought I would say that. Like, the Punisher ends with Frank Castle being like, yeah, okay, so I'm going to go and get some help for my PTSD and everything else, and everything, mostly worked out fine for me. Jessica Jones, I chased away all my friends and I'm still a drunk. Nothing got better for me. Things only got worse. Ain't that some shit? Yeah, I mean the overall story here, which is surprising because season one of Jessica Jones did the Purple Man story, which is the thing from Alias everyone remembers. I truly asked, well, where are they going to go for season two? And the answer is they kind of make it up.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, they kind of had to because like the character only really had like one book and
Hmm.
like not really much to go on. So yeah.
And you can't do the modern day Bendis stuff, and you can't do like her being den mother of the Young Avengers or any of this other stuff. So you kind of have to make it up, and they kind of zero in on her powers. How did she get them and everything in this mysterious group IGH, which I love. Even after 13 episodes, we never got told what IGH stands for.
We do in the last episode.
Oh, really?
Is it the last episode, or I think it was the episode where the Doctor blows himself up?
Right, right.
In the building is I can't remember what it was. I think it was like a hospital or an ex-hospital or something. The
Yeah.
hospital name, like when you look at the capital letters, it's IGH.
Oh.
So
Oh, so that's all it was.
I can't remember what it exactly meant though.
Because I kept saying inhuman growth hormone, it's got to mean inhuman growth hormone, but apparently no. Also, was IGH a big group, or was it just two doctors in a secret hospital?
Yeah, that's the thing. We don't particularly know.
No, they kind of make it sound like, well, the doctor's dead and everything, so I guess IGH is done. I'm like, is it though? Because there were clearly people trying to weaponize it. No, no, that guy died. Oh, was that just one guy? Yeah, just one guy.
When we see it, yeah, there's like that guy, and then there's that nurse, and then
Yeah.
there was like a couple of other people that had all died long before the
Uh,
show even started and everything. But yeah, it looked like it was all just based around this one doctor doing like shady shit in like a warehouse.
which again, wonderfully Jessica Jones though fits her profile like a glove, so I can understand why. And we meet our villain for the piece, who is this mysterious woman who is stronger than Jessica Jones and who is going around killing all the people connected to IGH. And even before the big reveal, I'm like, man, this woman, she's kind of like a dark mirror to Jess. She's kind of like where she could be in 20 years if she doesn't clean up her act and doesn't keep pushing people away. And then, shocker, hey, it's her mom.
Yeah, shocker. Yeah, I kind of called that as well. Like when I saw that, and oh, she's got the same sort of powers, and she's like a dark mirror. Ah, it's gonna be a family relation or something.
Which states a hell of a precedent, actually, where it's like, oh, okay, so I guess super strength runs in their genetic code, and that's why Jess got it, and that's why her mom got it too.
Yeah.
Which I'm like, all right, that makes sense. Her mom is also kind of like a Hulk too, because even though she's super strong, she's super unstable, and things will set her off into murderous rages.
Jesus Christ, does she get angry?
Oh boy, does she ever! And kudos to that actress. She definitely sells the fuck out of those scenes. She is scary.
She especially like the scenes when she's in like the jail cell and they got her like all chained up and everything, and
Yeah.
I can't remember what she got mad at, but she like kills that guy, that evil, the quintessential evil warden,
Yeah,
security guard
guard.
guy.
Yeah, the evil one-off guard guy who turned out he was doing evil things completely independent of everything else that was going on, and Jess had to go deal with that,
Yeah.
which is super cool. Jerry had a lot of stuff to do this season, and it's funny, you forget, because after she was shown in Iron Fist and after she was shown in the Defenders, it's like, oh yeah, Jerry's not a nice person, is she?
No, yeah, I really enjoyed her arc in this show, but yeah, you realize like, yeah, she's kind of a shitty person. Like she has a job where she's kind of trying to help people, but yeah,
Yeah.
she's a really shitty person.
She don't give a fuck. And then you're like, oh yeah, that's right, she was really morally dubious in season one of Jessica Jones. Then they tuned her down for all her other appearances in like Iron Fist and Defenders and everything. It's nice to see how complicated she is.
Yeah, and I also like her journey, like with this. What was she? She was battling like ALS or something.
Yes,
Um,
which good job giving her ALS and not like breast cancer or ovarian cancers or one of the quote unquote lady diseases.
Yeah, so and like her journey through that kind of like gave her a renewed sense of hope, and by the end of it
Yeah,
she's like a little bit more happy and a little less of a shitbag.
yeah. Yeah, in her own weird, twisted way, she's like, "Oh, I remember why I got into this business to trick people into shooting each other." Which that's some gangsta ass shit, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah, she's like buying guns from Turk and
Oh,
all this
I
other
love
stuff.
I love that when Turk showed up because it was getting near the end of the show, and I'm like, is Turk ever going to show up? He's been a cameo. I think there he is.
Yeah, he just provides guns for everyone.
There's Turk. I'm like, is he going to get beaten up? Is Jerry going to kick his ass the way everyone else seems to kick his ass? No, he walked away with his ass unkicked.
Yeah, he got lucky.
That day he did. Speaking of references, this season probably is the most referential to anything we've ever seen before. They mention the Raft. They mention Captain America. They mention with great power comes great responsibility.
Yeah, they mention like characters like the Wizard and
Yes.
which is quite a pull from
What
the
a
comics.
deep cut.
Yeah, all this really cool stuff that they mentioned, or maybe they were like allowed to mention it by then. And stuff, yeah, because like the Raft, they mentioned that, and we just seen that in Captain America: Civil War.
Yeah.
All this sort of stuff. Yeah, you saw the Captain America figurines and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. A big theme of the season, I had to think, it comes down to legacy. How will people be remembered? Obviously for Jess's mother, that's, with her daughter and vice versa. And, do you want your legacy to be just a drunk PI? And for Jerry, it's, well, you never built much of a legacy. Your wife is dead. Your partners are pushing you out. Once you're gone, you're gone.
Yeah, and also like another really cool arc I liked was Trish's arc.
Yeah, see, I like Trisha's arc right up into the end, but yeah, that fit into the legacy thing too. Do you want to be a good reporter who changes the world, or do you just want to be a talking head who spews crap every day?
Yeah, and she has to like overcome that, as well as like her mother who's like pushing her into that sort of like
Yeah.
what was her alter ego, the singing alter ego name?
Oh, Patsy Walker.
Yeah, Patsy. Yeah, pushing her back into that life, and we even saw like flashbacks to like her and
Yes.
Jess growing up and everything, and how that sort of split them.
I loved the flashback episodes. They did a flashback episode in season 1 too, where we saw all of Jess's failed jobs. They do really good flashback episodes in this show.
Yeah, and even with that, they link her mother up with those flashbacks where she's like the reason Jess became the woman she is, because she killed Jess's I guess fiance.
Boyfriend.
Yeah, something like
Yeah.
that. Yeah, in a really brutal way as well. Just smashes his head against the wall.
Yeah, there's some ugly shit, but yeah, lots of interesting twists and turns there. Yeah, Patsy had a great arc because she was kind of like going out trying to do her own thing, basically trying to be a hero in her own right, while also battling a drug addiction because she gets hooked on some super drugs.
Yeah, that she got from Nuke. Nuke, who like appears in one episode and then dies. It's just a shame. So salty about that.
Such a waste. The Hand better bring him back to life, is all I'm saying. They better give him some dragon juice and bring him back to life.
Well, I had people say, well, in the comics he became a cyborg. I'm like, yeah, you're going to need something. He got his head twisted all the way around, so he's dead.
They got new cyborg tech for that now, Matt. They give you a neck that can't be twisted around. Yeah, I was so happy to see him again. I'm like, oh, sweet, sweet, Nuke is back, and he's going to be the villain in Daredevil Season 3, and he's going to paint an American flag on his face, and it's going to be great. Oh, he's dead now. Shit.
Yeah, that was kind of... But I think that... they could have gone about a different way, but that needed to happen, so then Trish gets like that inhaler and all that sort of stuff.
They also needed to sell the threat of the new villain by having having her kill the super strong guy from the previous season.
Yeah.
And I mean, mission accomplished, but still. The drug thing is interesting because it's like, Trish's journey is that, she wants to be super. She wants to be like Jess, which is hilarious because why would anyone want to be like Jess? She's a freaking walking garbage fire. Most times. It's like, and it's like I bought that right up until the end where she was willing to like go under the knife to give herself superpowers and everything. I'm like, that's a bit of a jump.
Yeah, near the end when the doctor's like experimenting on her and everything, is like, yeah, you're going a little bit too far.
You're kidnapping people. You're kind of past the point of no return, and they flip it like a switch because like the episode starts off like, oh, she's kidnapping the doctor because she wants more drugs. Okay, I get that. Oh no, she wants superpower. Okay.
Yeah, it was very, very strange.
Which is a shame because I was loving her arc right up until that moment, and then even for the very end, Trish kind of undercuts Jess's journey a little bit because the whole deal is like, if given the choice, will Jess choose between the mother she never knew and the life she could possibly have, or doing what's right, doing what's heroic, doing the justice thing, and either turning in and or killing her mother. And in the end, Trish takes that away from her. She takes away the choice.
Yeah, yeah, and again, that kind of, I think needed to happen to break them apart fully, because I think up until then they'd been sort of okay with each other, and there was stuff there that could be fixed easily, but like doing that and just like murdering her mother was kind of irreparable.
And that all comes in like the last two episodes, and that's a shame because like I was riveted with every bit of it right up into that. I'm like, man, if they stick the landing on this is going to be really great. And you have that scene of Jess and her mom saving that family from the car fire, and I'm like, wow, they could be like a mother-daughter superhero team. Wouldn't that be some shit?
Yeah, and even like the mother wanted that a little bit as well. It's like we could travel around and like help people, and I just want to help people, but then she flies into a murderous rage.
Yeah. And again, too, like I kept waiting for the other shoe to drop, and I'm like, no, you don't know, like the actual guys running IGH are gonna send like a Black Ops team to go pick her up or something like that. No. There's another boss here. There's another layer. Oh, there is no other boss. There is no other layer. Okay.
That's what I was waiting. I was waiting for like, oh yeah, there's gonna be like someone higher, and we're gonna get it in like the last couple of episodes, and then that's gonna go on to like the next season, or like they're gonna be like the big bad for like Defenders season 2 or something.
Yeah, I thought that too. Which, on one hand, I applaud them for having the gumption and having the guts to being like, no, we're gonna have a whole show where the villains aren't actually bad, because none of the villains were actually bad in this show. Arguably, you could say Jerry was the worst one.
Yeah, none of them were. They were all just like morally dubious. That's about it. Whereas, like, it's kind of terrible. You're experimenting on people, but you're not doing anything bad. You're not utilizing these people as like soldier assassins or anything.
No, you've saved these people, you brought them back to life. The worst thing you could do is be like, oh well, you didn't ask, and you also kind of framed a guy.
Yeah, and even so, like with Jessica's mother, that doctor like fell in love with her and married her and tried to have a normal life with her and everything.
Absolutely, and I like that we get to see like a little glimpse into their married life, because I think that's supposed to like continue the theme of abuse from the first season, where it's like, yeah, their relationship looks healthy on the outside, but in truth it's not actually good for anyone. He lives in constant fear of her having a psychotic break and killing people, and she kind of has a little bit of Florence Nightingale syndrome going on, and she's kind of got a little bit of Stockholm going on.
Yeah, and she's got like a terrible temper where the littlest things will set her off,
make her go into a kill crazy rampage, and she's also murdering other people to cover her tracks and cover IGH's tracks.
Yeah.
But I mean, by and large, there's like some really good stuff. They even let Jess have more of a romantic life in this episode. She has a whole long arc with her new supervisor, her new landlord there, Oscar.
Yeah, Oscar and his kid, and they had like a couple episodes dealing with like his problems and stuff, which is really cool. And they find out like he's like an identity thief, and like makes people face fake passports and whatnot, which is really cool. I really like that.
I like the whole arc of it too, because it actually reminded me very much of an actual story from Alias. Because when you meet Oscar at first, you think, oh, is this guy racist against superpowered people? Is that a thing now that we can explore racism?
That kind of seemed where it was going a little bit.
But no, he's not racist, and in fact, he's a very nice man too, and he's not like that, because Jess tries to force herself on him basically, and he's like, "No, madam, I am not. No, I don't know what you take me for. I was raised right. No." Yeah,
he was really cool. Also, we haven't talked about it yet. Malcolm also gets a really cool story with with like the competing detective agency.
Chen, who I even thought he was going to be a final boss, and he was going to be revealed to be a bigger villain. No, he's just a dickish PI.
That's the whole time, because they kept building up like, oh yeah, he's an ex-Navy SEAL, and he's such a badass. I thought it's like, oh, he's going to get tested on, and he's going to get powers, and especially after that episode where like Jess like storms into his offices and just beats the shit out of him.
Yeah, I thought that's where it was going to, where I'm like, okay, what's your name? Who are you from the comics? Who are you going to reveal yourself to be?
Yeah, but no, it was more of a story for Malcolm, who like
Yeah.
leaves Jess and becomes like this like detective, or what does he exactly become? Is it does he work for? He works for Chen, but then like he does stuff for like Jerry as well.
Yeah, I think it was just kind of like an all-purpose fixer guy. They had a word where it's like, oh, like risk management or something.
Yeah, yeah.
It was a very technical word, and even Jess says, yeah, that's what you call a private investigator when you don't want to call it a private investigator. See, these guys are so corporate, man. They're afraid of the name, man.
Yeah, well, Malcolm did become corporate. He got himself a new suit, a haircut,
Uh,
and
he got one of them ugly tight suits I don't like. One of them skinny suits.
yeah.
And look, I only say that because Lord knows I couldn't get into one of those if you paid me. That's not happening. Relaxed fit or nothing, man.
Yeah, and he also had like a story with Trish as well. With like he was
Yes.
trying to like help her because he'd obviously in the first season gone from like an addict to like where he is now, and he was trying. He saw that in Trish, and Trish sort of had a thing for him, and he's like, no, don't do the drugs.
Yeah, also talking about addiction in general, where it's like, he might also be a bit of a sex addict, and, he's, compensating for his addiction other places, and how him and Trish are really toxic with each other in general. Toxic relationships are a major theme of Jessica Jones.
Yeah, just shitty people are a major thing.
Just the most unheroic show about heroes you've ever seen. I think the best way that is summarized is at the very end when she stops that liquor store robber and the guy makes her pay for her booze anyway.
Yeah, yeah.
I bet you don't make Captain America pay for his booze. Again, too, I suppose we would be remiss if we didn't mention this. David Tennant comes back as the Purple Man for a whole episode.
Yeah, a really cool episode where he's not being evil, he's just being like annoying, and he's like helping Jessica on like a detective sort of mission a little bit where she's like tracking down someone, and yeah, he's just being annoying.
I hope they keep doing that. I like this idea that, he's such this, infectious part of her life that she still can't shake him all this time later, and he still exists there even after being dead. I am but a ghost of sexual assaults past. Is what I am. And man, their repartee was really dark but also really funny, like when she's going through Malcolm's Tinder and he's like, oh, you should sign up, you could be JJ, 5'5", athletic, loves booze. Oh yeah, and you can be Kilgrave on there, 6-something pasty. And I'm like, oh, these people are good. Can this just be the show now, these two just roasting each other? And it basically was for a whole episode, them just talking mad shit about each other.
It really was. It really was. It was really great getting David Tennant back.
Yeah, it was a fun time. I mean, really, what else can you say about Jessica Jones? Overall, I was super satisfied with it, due in most part to the fact that this show had actual, real, honest-to-God pacing. I wish the other shows would follow suit sometime.
Yeah, well, who knows? Maybe they will. What's the next one? It's Luke Cage that comes out in July.
I think, yeah, we got a little trailer for it, didn't we?
Yeah, and it looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. I liked Luke Cage a lot, so yeah.
Me too. Misty Knight with her robot arm, that's coming back. Hey, here's the thing, Luke Cage. If you're going to have an interesting villain, don't kill him in 4 episodes.
Yeah.
Don't do that and then replace with a different villain a couple episodes later.
Yeah, I had heard that there's an episode there that Danny comes in and teams up with him, and Danny's a lot different than he was in Defenders or Iron Fist. He's a lot more fun and just like carefree, sort of Danny from the comics.
That's what we need. Start rehabbing Danny Rand as a character in the Luke Cage show, and you can do that because I'm sure you'll have time.
Yeah.
I'm all about that. So yeah, is that everything we got to talk about for this week, Matt?
I think so.
All right, so there you go, everyone. That's the Comic Multiverse. I hope you enjoyed the episode. As always, be sure to like, favorite, and subscribe. And if you're a patron, which you can become for as little as $1, you can listen to this one right away as soon as it's done, Sunday night.
Yeah, and then you can watch it not long after that on the video edition.
You absolutely can. Any new projects coming up, Matt, that you want to talk about, that you want to pimp out?
Yeah, I'll be going away for the first 2 weeks of April, so like videos will be very sparse on my channel, but I do have some stuff coming out that is sort of a celebration of the Action Comics issue 1000 coming out on the 19th of April or something. So keep an eye out for those videos in the weeks leading up to that.
It's going to be good. It's going to be real good. Also, even though Matt's gone, don't worry. You're still going to get your dose of Comic Multiverse. We recorded a special commentary, which if you're a patron, you already got a chance to listen to. It's Justice League. And then I'm thinking about maybe trying to get wrangle a special guest for the next week after that. So you're definitely going to be getting a show. You don't got to worry about that.
Yeah, we're always ahead of things like that.
We always try to be, and hey, we're narrowing in on 100 episodes. Ain't that going to be special?
That's going to be good.
Let me ask the fans in the comment section, what do you want us to do for 100 episodes? Because I don't know what to do. Should we do something on Twitch, maybe? Should we play a game? I guess Injustice had all that new DLC. Should we play some Injustice with the DLC characters? Would people like that?
We could do that, but I'd have to buy the game again.
Oh, you got rid of the game? Dang it.
A long time ago.
Kickstart the game for Matt, or better yet, if a fan has a copy, just send it to Matt. Because, yeah, I never played Red Hood or the Ninja Turtles or the Enchantress or the Atom or any of that other stuff, or even Hellboy.
Yeah. How's Twitch go through, like, PCs and stuff? Because we could always just play, like a board game or something where people would chime in.
Yeah, look into that. That is something we could definitely try. I know there is apps and there are things you can do that are kind of like that.
Well, I've got a copy of Tabletop Simulator waiting for you on Steam.
That's right. I signed up for Steam again. What did my name? What did I do? I did it for just this reason. Yeah, maybe we'll have to do some tabletop games. We'll have to do some fun stuff. I'm sure people would be like, hey, play what's that game everyone loves? It's like a fill in the blanks game.
Cards Against Humanity.
Cards Against Humanity. To which my thing is like, hey, Matt and I don't need Cards Against Humanity to say filthy, horrible shit. We do it all the time.
But I do have Cards Against Humanity on Tabletop Simulator. So.
Maybe we'll break that out and see what happens. Because it's like, here's the thing. Matt and I don't need it, but we'll do it for you. All right, everyone. So that's the show. Thank you so much for listening. We will be back again. Same Comic Multiverse time, same Comic Multiverse channel. That's like Wednesday at 8 Eastern Standard Time.
Yeah.
All right. So bye-bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye-bye.